Jesus, we thank you for an answered prayer. In the name of Christ Jesus our Lord, we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Thank you very much. We shall remain standing as we take the UCC anthem. Thank you very much. Kindly take your seats. To chair this inaugural lecture this afternoon is a pharmacist and biomedical scientist, a Ghana College of Pharmacists Fellow, a Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA scholar, and a Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research CV Raman scholar. He is a member of the Association of African Universities and has consulted worldwide on community pharmacy practice. He is also a member of numerous international and local professional bodies. Our chair has taught at various levels and supervised a number of MPhil and PhD students from different backgrounds. He has climbed through the ranks of this university and has been at the forefront of academic leadership in key areas. Presently, the Vice Chancellor of University of Cape Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly help me welcome Professor Johnson Nyako Bwampong, our chairman.
Thank you, MC. Professor Mrs. Rosemont Bohin, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Nana Kwekwenu the third, Remahin, Guga Traditional Area, Professor Eric Nyako Sampson, Vice Chancellor of the University of Environment and Sustainable Development, Pro Vice Chancellors of sister universities, Registrars of sister universities, Professor Emmanuel Ado Oben, former Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor D.D. Kupori, former Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor Joseph Gate Ampere, former Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor Joshua Ususetre, former Vice Chancellor, Cape Coast Technical University, Professor John Nelson Boa, former Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor George K.T. Odro, former Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor Dora Francis Edubuando, former Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Provost, Deans, Directors of Academic and Administrative Units, Heads of Department and Heads of Hall, Members of Convocation, Apostle Christopher Efum-Nyakon, Vice President of the Apostolic Church, Ghana, Apostle Alex Boabin, General Secretary of the Apostolic Church, Ghana, Apostle J.K. Atinyo, Cape Coast Area Superintendent, the Apostolic Church, Ghana, staff and students, distinguished invited guests, friends in the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Governing Council, management, and staff of the University of Cape Coast, I welcome you to today's professorial inaugural lecture to be delivered by Professor David Teye Doku. We wish to extend a hearty welcome to all our special guests, family and friends of Professor Doku. We say Akwaba. We appreciate your presence and support. Distinguished invited guests, within the academy, inaugural lectures provide the occasion for universities to acknowledge the appointment or promotion of academics to the rank of professor, introduce them, and provide them with the opportunity to engage with the university community. An inaugural lecture is therefore a significant milestone in academics' career, recognizing their promotion to professor. Ladies and gentlemen, these lectures form a key part of the tradition of the University of Cape Coast, where we create the platform to enable our astute professors to showcase to the university-wide audience their research or their perspectives on issues of interest to them. Each lecture provides an opportunity for academics to share, among others, their achievement in research, innovation, engagement, and teaching activities before an audience of members of the university community and the general public. As you already know, it is the only time an academic gets to profess what he knows or thinks without being questioned. Though Professor David Teye Doku was promoted to the professorial rank in 2022, it is today that he will celebrate this important personal milestone with a broad audience, including members of the public, family, friends, and colleagues, both old and new. Professor David Teye Doku will synthesize his scholarship and contribution to knowledge in his field of specialization, which is epidemiology and public health, in the inaugural lecture captioned "The Causes of Causes: A Society the Producer of Its Own Health and Its Health." Professor Doku will deliver the lecture in a simplified manner so that individuals who do not belong to the same field with him would understand what he has come to say. Ladies and gentlemen, before Professor David Teye Doku steps forward to deliver his inaugural lecture, permit me to read his profile. Professor David Teye Doku is a professor of epidemiology and public health at the Department of Population and Health, University of Cape Coast, and currently the director of the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Consultancy, DRIC in short. Professor Doku is an adjunct professor in public health at the Tampere University, Finland. He has previously served as head of the Department of Population and Health and as a deputy director of DRIC. Professor Doku holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree in public health with concentration in epidemiology and a Master of Science degree in health services, major in public health, both from School of Health Sciences, Tampere University in Finland. A certificate in Health and Society from the University College London in the United Kingdom, and a certificate in Teaching and Higher Education from the Faculty of Education, Tampere University in Finland. Professor Doku began his academic career in 2008 as a researcher at the then Tampere School of Public Health, University of Tampere, now Tampere University. He was appointed as a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast in 2011, promoted to the rank of senior lecturer in 2013, promoted to the rank of associate professor in 2022, and professor in 2020. Professor Doku teaches epidemiology, public health, population and health-related courses at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. His research interests includes adolescent health, health inequalities, maternal, neonatal, and child health in low and middle income countries. Over the past 10 years, Professor Doku has successfully produced 10 PhD graduates either as a principal supervisor or a co-supervisor. Most of these graduates are holding responsible career positions both home and abroad. One of them is an associate professor at UCC. Professor Doku has served as an external examiner for 21 PhD theses in universities in Ghana and abroad. Professor Doku has authored and co-authored over 87 scientific publications in Scopus Index journals. His scientific papers are published in some of the world's top journals, including International Journal of Epidemiology, British Medical Journal, Global Health, and The Lancet. Currently, Professor Doku has over 45,000 citations of his publications. This makes him first in UCC's all-time list of contributors to the university's ranking in terms of research influence. His H-index of 42 is the highest any UCC scholar has on Scopus. Recently, Professor Doku received 5 Research Excellence Awards for his contribution to the sterling performance of UCC in the 2022 Times Higher Education World University Ranking, namely, one, topmost scholar in UCC with nominal citations of papers all time. That is 17,335 citations. Then 2, topmost scholar in UCC with nominal citations of papers from 2016 to 2020. That is 16,365 citations. 3, highest high index of all-time papers in UCC with high index, H-index of 33. 4, second in UCC in terms of the number of relevant papers. That's 54 papers in Scopus Index Journal from 2016 to 2020. And the 5th, third in UCC in terms of the total number of relevant papers, 84 papers in 2022 in Scopus Index Journal. It's done well. Professor Doku's scholarly output has contributed to UCC's sterling ranking in the 2022 and the 2023 Times Higher Education World University Ranking as the topmost ranked university in Ghana and West Africa. Fourth in Africa and among the top 400 universities in the world in terms of our research influence. So he has actually contributed to the visibility of the University of Cape Coast. In 2021 and 2022, Professor Doku was listed by the AD World Scientist and University Ranking as the top 11th and 12th scholar, respectively, in Ghana. In both cases, he was ranked first in the University of Cape Coast. Professor Doku was named by the research.com as ranking institution at research.com, a ranking institution as a rising star researcher in Ghana in 2022. In May this year, the research.com again named Professor Doku as the best researcher in the field of humanities and social sciences in Ghana. Professor Doku was one of the only 2 researchers in Ghana who, according to the research.com, met their ranking criteria in 2023. Other notable awards Professor Doku received include 2019 Best Evolved Researcher, UCC. 2016 Postdoctoral Fellowship Award, School of Health Sciences, Tampere University, Finland. 2016 Best Evolved Researcher, UCC. The same year, 2016, Co-Supervisor of an outstanding PhD thesis, School of Graduate Studies, UCC. 2011, Outstanding Doctoral Student of the Year, School of Health Sciences, Tampere University, Finland. 2009 and 2010, finalist Best Young Researcher, European Association of Public Health Schools. Professor Doku has served on several committees at the University of Cape Coast and has initiated and contributed to the development of a number of policies, guidelines, and academic programs, such as Bachelor of Public Health with concentration in health promotion, epidemiology, and disease control. Master of Public Health in epidemiology and biostatistics. And Master of Public Health in sexual and reproductive health and rights. During his tenure as head of department, he promoted the establishment of the Center of Mixed Migration and Diaspora Studies and has fostered departmental partnership with a couple of institutions both in Ghana and abroad. Professor Doku has substantial national and international exposure and networks. He serves as external expert examiner in the disciplines of epidemiology and public health for universities both in Ghana and abroad. Professor Doku holds important editorial positions with reputable journals. He has undertaken research projects with some of the world's leading scholars in his area of expertise. Professor Doku currently leads Ghana's team of Global Network working on providing compelling evidence to inform advocacy for accelerating progress towards the attainment of health and health-related sustainable development goals. That is HHSDGs. This network is an intersectoral strategy and a global consortium led by the world's top global health scientists to drive progress towards the achievement of the HHSDGs, as well as address climate change, health, and complex challenges. This is a $2 million Canadian dollar funded project. In 2014, Professor Doku was part of a 20-member international team of experts invited by the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, to the strategic meeting on Ebola virus disease outbreak in West Africa, on scaling up contact tracing in the 3 affected countries, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. Aside from teaching, publications, supervisions, together with other colleagues, Professor Doku has won a number of external research grants and consultancy contracts. His total grants won in collaboration with other researchers exceed $5 million. He played key role in the design and implementation of these projects. He has also designed and facilitated several seminars and workshops locally and internationally for both students and faculty members. Professor Doku's research and academic networks cover several countries, including South Africa, US, Norway, Canada, Germany, Australia, Sweden, and Finland. Professor Doku is an elder of the church, the Apostolic Church, Ghana, and serves as a patron of the UCC branch of the Apostolic Church, Ghana. So after all the research work that he does, he still gets time to lead the church. You've done well. Professor Doku is married to Laura, and they are blessed with 2 children and 2 wards, namely Lucas, Herma, Regina, Rosina, respectively. Thank you for your attention.
Come on.
Thank you very much, Mercy Achianu and her colleague. We can do it better for them for that beautiful rendition. Mercy sang in Ga Adangme, and the gentleman did the rendition in Fanti. We are at the crunch of our gathering, and that is to listen to the inaugural lecture. And this is going to be done on the topic, the causes of the causes is society, the producer of its own health and ill health. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome Professor David Teye Doku.
the Vice Chancellor, Professor Johnson Nyankompampo, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Rosemond Bohini, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Environment and Sustainable Development, Professor Nyankon Samson, former Vice Chancellors of UCC, former Vice Chancellors of UCC, former Pro-Vice Chancellors of UCC, former registrars, the Vice President and General Secretary of the Apostolic Church Ghana, Apostle Christopher Efum Nyakon and Apostle Alex Wharton, respectively, Nana Mayurehin of the Gwa traditional area, Provost, Deans, Directors, Heads of Department, and other duty bearers of the University of Cape Coast, representative of government ministries, departments, and agencies, my dear presbyters from the Apostolic Church Ghana, pastors and elders, distinguished invited guests from sister universities, faculty, students, the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to stand here today. It was just a short walk from here to this podium, but it has been a very long walk. Very long walk, and I am very grateful for this day. I thank you all so very much for making time this afternoon to be with us here for these discussions. I've chosen for this inaugural lecture the topic, the causes of the causes. Society, the producer of its own health and ill health. This was motivated by my orientation, especially in my number of years living in Finland, and also from my own background, coming from a very poor family. My parents are here. They have never been to what you would call the formal education. They have never had any. But I tell you, they are very intelligent and brilliant. I know for sure. Yeah, I'm a professor and I can measure intelligence. My student, I can gauge what intelligent means. And so this topic has been motivated a lot by my own experiences and also how I see my worldview of things. So I'll take us through quickly. I'll be talking about the context of what I'm going to talk about, health gap, the causes of the causes, whose responsibility is health. And then I'll share some theoretical and methodological perspective about social epidemiology in particular, and chronicle a few moderate contributions that I've made to the field of epidemiology and public health. And then I'll highlight some moderate achievements, and I'll share some concluding thoughts and recommendations. In this lecture, health means complete well-being, mentally, socially, physically, but also things that affect health, other health-related events that are not necessarily disease as WHO defines health. I'll look at a cause. I teach epidemiology, so I know really what a cause is. And I'll look at a cause in a rather very broad context, a cause that is not just biological plausibility of a cause, but a broad context of a cause that affects health and ill health. And then I will look at the issue about health equality and health equity. I will use these terms interchangeably. I know there are differences, marked differences, but in this context, I anticipate or I perceive equality as any differences in health that is anything else other than biological influence. So I'll look at this concept of health in these broad areas. So we look at over the years, over the past few centuries, there has been remarkable improvement in population health. In fact, if we were in the year 1800, most of us wouldn't have been alive today because the average life expectancy was just 28.5 years. And I believe most of us are more than 28.5 years. So today, we're talking about average life expectancy. In fact, the most data that is available to me is 2021, most reliable data. We're looking at 71.0 years, from 28.5 to 71.0 years. Very remarkable improvement in health over the years. And as we can see, if we look at the movement, we look at these differences over the centuries, we can see that across the centuries, the most remarkable has been within the 21st century. Within the 21st century, we have received the most remarkable improvement in health globally. If you can see, for example, in 1770, average life expectancy, and this in 1800 it was the same. No change in average life expectancy across more than 30 years. Same, nothing changed. There has been some change here from 1770 to 1900, and we can see this remarkable change from 32 to 60 years average life expectancy. And we can see that across regions. We can see that also here. Today, we are talking about 70 years of life expectancy. But this change, as we can see, even though it increases across the every region, you can see world, you can see Europe here, the Americas, Asia, Africa. I've highlighted Africa. We see that always is a little bit below the world's figures. And we're going to share some perspective on these issues as well. So health is measured by life expectancy, but also there are very important indicators. One of such is child mortality. Any country tells you the child mortality, you can tell the health of the country. And so this is child mortality, and you can see also over the period, it has been declining, and declining in all regions of the world, very remarkably. Also, maternal mortality is also an important indicator of the health of a people. And as we can see also, over the years, it has been declining. It has been declining. Look at this one, Ireland. In some places now, maternal mortality is a thing of the past. In fact, a friend told me that sometime in around 2010 in Norway, one mother died while giving birth, and it was a national news. One. It was a national news. So in many places now, it's a thing of the past. Hardly this thing. Okay. But there are gaps. As we can see, there are differences across the regions of the world. There are differences. Europe on the top, Americas, Asia, world, and Africa is trailing behind. So if we see across all the dispensations, the differences are there. Differences across the regions, dispensation. What is remarkable here, in 1950, the life expectancy is even slightly higher than Africa in 2020. 1950. The life expectancy in Europe is 62.8 in 1950. In Africa, the life expectancy is 62.2 in 2020. When we look at the other indicators, important indicators of health, also we can see such huge disparities in health across the regions and across dispensations. And it's not only between the so-called West and developing countries or the South, but also within Africa. For example, you can see in 1960, the life expectancy in Ghana, the maternal mortality rate in Ghana, child mortality rate in Ghana is 20.8. And look at 1960 and 1990, 30 years difference. We have about the same in Nigeria. Disparities even within the continent, within the regions. Huge disparities. Maternal mortality, huge disparities. Look at Finland's maternal mortality rate, or number of women who die per 100,000 live birth in the year 1923. Is even lower than Ghana in 2016. How many years? Several years. 93 years apart. 93 years apart in health. Maternal mortality, the same we can see. Regions across, huge disparities, whether cross-continental or within the continent. And if you see this graph, the deeper the color, the worse the maternal mortality. And you can see most of the red, so the deeper here are in Africa and actually sub-Saharan Africa. And you can see the lighter colors are up there. The same with the burden of disease, not only maternal, child, and life expectancy, but also the burden of disease. The burden of disease, one DALY, what we call disability adjusted life years, is equal to 1 year lost of healthy life. And we can see here again, there are huge global disparities across. It's not only between countries, between continents, but also within countries. I have done a few research in a few other areas, mostly health behavior and a couple of health. And I'm going to show a few of them. We have picked, a number of the research, we have picked those indicators, health indicators that we consider as not so much priorities, not so prevalent in the country. And we tested to see whether we can still see disparities in those. And one of them is smoking. I remember very well, I came to Ghana to collect data in 2006, and I met one professor, and I said I was collecting data on tobacco smoking among school going and all these things. He said, oh, but the smoking is not a problem. Yes, this is even in the areas that we don't consider as a problem, we can see huge disparities here. So that the richest have the lowest, the poorest, measured by Web Index, have the highest disparities, even in the an outcome that we considered as not too important, but very relevant and very high public health significance. Also, if we measure by level of education, blue here is here, and the dotted line, so higher education have lower chances of smoking. Secondary education lower, primary education next, and no education higher. The higher the education, the lower the probability that the person will be involved in health compromising behavior, in this case, smoking. Look at the same by rural, urban, we can see such huge disparities here. Rural higher, Hello. Something is not going well. Courses of courses. It's changing here, but not here. I can't see it here. I've changed the next slide. Technical, is there something that's happening there? There's no connection between this and that. Is there any problem? Hello? Sorry. You can't see what I'm showing here. I can talk, but I think the audience deserves to see what's going on there. Sorry. Yeah. I'm here. So, yeah. It's still 7 here. Showing 7 here. Gladys, probably we should get a projector here. I anticipate there could be something, so I asked Gladys to put a projector in my car. Gladys, please get in closer to the projector and bring a table here, please. Because I was going to talk about the causes of the courses, so I know there could be a cause. Okay, great. So we look at here, we're looking at inequalities in birth attended to by skilled personnel in Ghana across wealth quintiles. We also see differences here. There are marked differences by wealth index quintiles, said that the poorest are always at the lower end, and those richest measured by wealth index are always less affected by this kind of phenomenon. Then we check also what we don't consider so much as a problem, but is emerging, weight, malnutrition. Also, we can see disparities across whether people live in rural or urban, very marked differences. It's not only in that. Recently, the Ghana Statistical Service published this work about proportion of or percentage of persons 15 years and older who did not use internet. I consider the use of internet in 21st century as a very important and essential opportunity for life that also has a pathway to health. And here, again, we can see differences here. In 2010, there are many age 15 and above who are not using. But when it changes to 2021, when we go to 2021, we can see Greater Accra, for example, has improved remarkably. But we can see as you go along, other regions are still almost even lower in terms of the proportion of persons who have been able to use internet. This is an opportunity in the 21st century. Persons 15 years of age should be able to use, and that also have some pathway to health. So there are huge differences in health across the globe, within continents, within countries. And the global commitment towards addressing health inequalities, or these differences that we're seeing, were also featured in the Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, if you look at goal number 10, specifically say that we want to reduce inequalities. Goal number 5, gender equity. It's talking about inequalities. Quality education, we can trace inequalities there. In almost all the goals, if you take poverty, for example, you want to reduce poverty, it's talking about inequalities. If you take zero hunger, you're talking about inequalities. So the global commitment to addressing inequalities, including health, is expressed in the Sustainable Development Goals. But one of the teams that I collaborate with, the Global Burden of Disease, already our analysis in 2016, using 2016 data, projecting those where they were in 2016 and probability that they will be able to attain this fit in 2023 already shows a very, very disturbing picture. We can see here, this is Ghana is somewhere here. And we can see the gradient, so that where they were in 2016 already predicts where they will be in 2023. And the picture is that the better they were in 2026, the better they will be in 2026. And there is no closing of the gap. This is the prediction, and we are counting. 2023 is not far away from now. Now, there are many things that affect health, and one of such way is model what we call the dark green rainbow of health inequalities. So here we can see that there are many, many factors. A person's own factors, your age, your sex, and then some constitutional factors affect your health. You can see your individual lifestyle. You can see the society and community network. And within that, there are many things like agriculture and food production, education, work environment, living and working condition, unemployment, water and sanitation, health services, housing. There are broader factors. There are broader indicators that affect people's health. Very important. So health is not just the outcome of the genetic or biological processes. The fact that a lot of interventions have been done, but there is still marked differences, disparities, inequalities in health, raises the question as to looking at other things, other broader things that could affect health that are probably away from the individual's control. And that is christened in what they call the social determinants of health. Social determinants of health. In 2005, the WHO established a committee led by Professor Michael Marmont. I'm privileged to have been taught by Professor Michael Marmont shortly in the University College of London. And they said that social determinants are the conditions in which people are born, grow, live, work, and age, which include the health system. These circumstances are shaped by the distribution of money, power, and resources at global, national, and local levels, which are themselves influenced by policy choices. The social determinants of health are mostly responsible for the inequities, the unfair and avoidable differences in health status seen within and between countries. Social determinants of health. Things that affect health other than the person's own biological makeup. If we have differences in health between men and women, in terms of, for example, we know that breast cancer, we expect to get about 90 plus or 99% of breast cancer cases among females compared to males. That is fine. It is because of the biology. It's not influenced by anything. But the fact that several interventions through the Millennium Development Goal has still not been able to eliminate the differences in health, call for the need to look at other causes of health. So what are the causes of causes? What are the other causes of the causes? I want to read a piece of information that I extracted and modified from one of my teachers at University College of London. It says that I am standing by the shore of River Okwe. River Okwe is my village. My village where I come from is between Somonya and Akusi. There is a river, a swift-flowing river called River Okwe. I hear the cry of a drowning man. I jump into the cold waters. I fight against the strong current and force my way to the struggling man. I hold hard on and gradually pull him to the shore. I lay him out on the bank and revived him with artificial respiration. Just when he began to breathe, so there are upstream factors that affect health, and there are downstream factors. The upstream factors are the remote causes that sometimes we don't set our eyes on. They include national or local policy initiatives, legislation, regulation, access to formal education, fair employment, functional health insurance scheme, training health professionals, provision of water, food and food security, access to health care, and treatment. Most of the time, we center our efforts on the downstream, around here, and we don't care about what is happening up there. The causes of the causes. So the causes of the causes are not what the physicians diagnose at the clinics and hospitals. The causes of the causes are in the community. They are in both health and non-health policies. They are in the unemployment figures, in the illiteracy rates, in the slums. They are breeding in the schools under threes. They are in the school dropout rates. The causes of the causes are in the polluted drinking water, which the rural folks are compelled to drink. They are in the poor wages, the unsafe work environment. They are the poor food and drug safety regulations. Here in Ghana, everything is FDA approved. Yeah, everything. They are all around us. They are shaped by the way society is organized. The causes of the causes are the conditions which make people ill in the first place before they head for the facility. My 8-year-old son told me that I asked him on Thursday evening that, do you know we are going to have a big event? He said, yes, I know, it's a party. I said, no, it's not just a party. But we were going to have a talk before that. I said, oh, there's going to be very boring speech. I said, well, it's not going to be boring. Then I asked him, do you know the title? He said, yes, it's the causes of the causes. And I continue with that. And I said, do you understand? He said, yes, I know. And this is what he wrote. He said, the first cause is the main cause of the cause that you have. And I think that is an excellent description. The first cause. And I thought he was just joking. The following morning, that was in the evening before he went to bed. And the following morning, I asked him, do you remember what you said? He said, yes. I said, the first cause is the main cause of the cause that you have. The causes of the causes. Access to health care, most of the time, as public health professional, we prioritize access to health care and other things so much. It is very important. Having been to hospital, having undergone surgery, I cannot in any way underestimate the role of clinical treatment. It's very, very important. But why do we treat people and send them back into the situation that made them sick in the first place? The causes of the causes are in the community. We have some of the best doctors in this country. They are skillful, professional, and highly industrious. They work in some of the difficult conditions to save lives. Some are in the University Hospital, University of Cape Coast Hospital. Some are in CCTH. Some are in our School of Medical Sciences. And in fact, some are in this room. Some have taken care of you and myself when we were sick. In addition to all the numerous challenges they face from the social epidemiological view, their contribution to the overall health of this country is frustrated by the fact that most of the people they treat are thrown back into the conditions which made them sick in the first place. The causes of the causes are in the communities. Health inequality is not just a matter of rich versus poor issue. It's a gradient that affects everyone, depending on where you stand. I also had the privilege of sitting in a lecture of Richard Wilkinson. And in his book, he looked at national income, gross national income, and how it relates to some health and social issues. Life expectancy, malnutrition, literacy, infant mortality, homicide, imprisonment, teenage birth, trust, obesity, mental illness, including, and then social mobility, moving from one social class to the other. And he found no relationship actually on the national level. So what it means is that if you are rich country or you are a poor country, it has nothing to do with how that relates to your prevalence or the rate of these health issues. But then he went further to look at the distribution of the wealth within the country. So if you have, whether you're wealthy or not, it doesn't relate to this. Then he found this gradient. The more equal the income is distributed in the country, the better the health and social issues. The more unequal income is distributed in the country, the worse the health and social issues. A gradient. So depending on where you find yourself, you are better off or you are worse off. It's a gradient. It is not equality, even though as I'm using equity and equality interchangeably. It is about equity. And that is why I think that some of our policies will have to look at creating equal opportunity for all people. Opportunity that is equitable For example, I can say because we are in the university, I should use this example. If we say that we give support to needy but brilliant students, it is equitable, but it's equality, but it's not equity. Do you know that somebody may not be brilliant because he's needy? Yes. So if you are demanding the person who is needy to be brilliant, you are asking a double count from that person. Double. And I am sad. When I was preparing for this lecture, I asked whether we follow this policy of admitting students from poor schools. We have stopped it. We don't have a clear policy as a university to say that if you meet the requirement, but you are from such a place, you can get admission. And people like me, when I was in class 4, our classroom was the Apostolic Church Chapel at Okwenya. Our classroom. And class 4, 5, and 6 were in the same space with one teacher. One teacher, Mr. Daleji, unfortunately he couldn't make it here. One teacher. So he will give class 6 an assignment, and then we'll be dealing with us. And when he finishes the assignment, he comes here, then he gives this person an assignment. In the class, every day. And we kneel before the bench. We kneel on the floor and write on the bench. And you are asking that person should show that he's brilliant, he's needy, and he's brilliant before you offer that person some support. It's being needy not enough. Being needy is enough. It's enough that person has moved from his village and is in the university and is needy. Come on. It's enough. And this is education. And education has a strong pathway to health. It has a strong pathway to many of these social vices we're talking about. Teenage pregnancy, armed robbery, theft, crime, all of that. Pathway there. The causes of the causes. So this is the gradient. Depending on where you are. Where you are. And I believe everybody wants to go up and up. So if your sister's social status is higher, your health is better. So some of us are here. Others are here. Some are here. And the good thing about addressing health inequalities or differences in health is that everybody's health can be improved once we begin to tackle each other's health. Everybody's health can be improved. The causes of the causes. So we tested these gradients, and even in a welfare state, Finland, we find differences in health behavior by the type of school, the school performance, and involving tobacco use. Found these gradients. And once you close the gap, everybody benefits in that space. The Vice Chancellor says I should simplify my presentation to everybody. So this is the most simplified pathway to health inequality. So your deprivation in many forms, discrimination, poor environment, poor neighborhood, living in slum, not being able, you dropping out of school, being a herdsman somewhere, selling traffic, or being in university, or being a professor here, can lead to this indirect pathway. We tested this in my work. We call it inadequate means of coping with the shame that comes with your deprivation status. And this is relative deprivation. So it doesn't matter where you are. And I give an example. If your kids are in a school where every family goes for holiday abroad, and there is a kid, no matter how wealthy they are, but they never go to holiday abroad, that person is deprived. Yeah, it's relative deprivation. that person is deprived. So and if you saw the graph that I've shown, it is how the income is distributed. So you have countries like United States of America, their gross domestic product is huge, far above, say, countries in the Scandinavia, Finland, Sweden, but because the distribution is fairer, better health, everybody has access to functional health insurance. Everybody. And in those places, crime rate, you can leave your wallet, and with money inside, they will pick it and give it to the police. You go and collect it. Every area, they have what they call lost and found center. That you can do that. Here, you can't do that because of the way income is distributed. Because of the way income is distributed. So we have the indirect pathway here. It affects some behaviors because you want to belong, you want to compromise and all that. And then it affects your biology and then consequently your health. And then we have the direct pathway. Animal models from colleagues in University College of London has demonstrated that deprivation does not only act through the indirect way, but also directly affect your biology and consequently produce ill health. So this is the simplified form. Now, most of the time, we have here that we don't deal with. We can do intervention here, a lot of intervention through here, but we are not able to do that. I want to share some theoretical and methodological perspective on health inequalities. So, inequalities is perceived as working through 4 theoretical pathways. One is what they call measurement artifacts. Those who subscribe to that, they say, look, there's no such a thing as inequality. The health is not well measured, and the wealth is not well measured, or social status is not well measured. And mostly they took this perspective from some of the original works that were done in the area of health inequality. One of them is what they call the civil servant study in England and Wales. They call it the Black Report. The Black Report. In that report, they got the health from one source and then the social status from another source. So those who subscribe to this say that there is a mismatch. They call it the numerator-denominator mismatch because the health was coming from one source and then the social status was also coming from one source. Now, with the onset of longitudinal data set where you follow people over a long period of time, you are able to get both the social dimension from the same data and the health from the same data. So this perspective cannot be upheld. No, it cannot be. The other one is what they call the natural or social selection. And this is more like the survival of the fittest. Those who subscribe to say there is no such a thing as, or the social differences in health emerge as a result of persons' potential for health or their own health. So if you have poor health, you drop out of school, you are unemployed, you are in a low social class, and so you are also having a poor health. Or they claim that some people have some good potential for good health. They are able to take health promotion messages seriously. They are able to go for gym on their own, walk around. They are just endowed with some potential for good health. And so they are able to get good health. And such persons also have good potential for that enables them to get into a upper social class like intelligence and all that. And so they end at the social class. Now, empirical studies have shown that some small traces can be a contribution to this kind of perspective. But overall, it is not enough to conclude that selection, whether social selection or natural selection, contribute to health. Another one is cultural. Like, no, don't mind them. There are some people that that's their culture. They just drink so much and smoke so much. They don't obey anything. They take risky life, risk behaviors and all that. So that is how. But empirical study has demonstrated that people have a choice, but but their choices are constrained in the social environment that they find themselves. So they are free to choose, but free to choose only within their circumstances. Free to choose, but free to choose only within their circumstances. And so this other perspective has not been approved. And then the other one is material structure. That says that health, our health, and the differences in our health is as a result of how society is organized, so that advantages and disadvantages go to certain people and they are able to get good health, and disadvantages go to certain people, they have poor health. And so how society is organized distributes the potentials for good health and ill health. And this is what has been tested and proven, that our health is dependent on how society is organized. Is society the producer of its own health and ill health? Then some measurement issues. Previously, there were 3 things that were used traditionally in measuring social status: education, occupation, and income. These things were thought to have important pathway to people's health. But in recent decades, they have thought about the fact that the social issue is a multi-dimensional construct. And so to be able to measure it appropriately, you should be able to measure all its dimensionalities. And so there is more like using multiple indicators measuring this. And I have done some work on that. So the argument is that people over the life course, there are different indicators that affect their health most. What affects a child's health is not the social circumstances that affect the child's health is not the same as what affects the retiree's health, and so on. So if you are using income or occupation or education, in some cases you might be able to miss that. And one of the work that I did in measuring health inequalities among adolescents in low and middle income country, and I chose Ghana also, I collected information on adolescents, for example, SHS adolescent, and you ask an adolescent to indicate the father's occupation, because we measure they have not attained, they have not completed education yet, so we use their father's occupation. And somebody will tell you that my father works, you write, Ada, and father works at 37 Military Hospital. Okay, is he a cleaner? Is he a surgeon? Is he the CEO? How do you classify that person? How do you code that to measure the person's status? The father works at 37 Military Hospital. So there is an argument to use indicators that represent reality in people's life, what they go through every day. And I'll show you later one of the works that we have done on that. So whose responsibility is health? Is society the producer of its own health and ill health? The relationship between lifestyle, like smoking, alcohol use, unprotected sex and all that, and health, is well known. And so it makes sense to hold individuals responsible for their own health. Your health is your choice. Your health is your responsibility. That makes sense. It does. But do the individuals have the agency to change? This is a 10 sure for good health. 10 sure. You know, those times take little banker to banker. It's a 10 sure, too sure, too sure. So this is 10 sure. So assuming somebody gives you this 10 sure to good health, follow a balanced diet with plenty food, fruits and vegetables. You must ensure that your child completes the entire vaccination schedule by age 5. If you drink alcohol, do so in moderation. Send your girl child to school. How many times have we preached people should send their girl child to school? Are they all in school? Are they? Always wear seat belt when traveling in a vehicle, whether in trotro or in a private vehicle. 10 sure. 10 sure. Take up cancer screening. Be safe on the road. Follow the highway rules and the road markings. When you get to Makati Hills, all the way to Malam Junction, 5 lanes, 4 lanes, no road markings. Is the individual responsible for that? Is the individual responsible for not wearing seatbelt in trotro when DVL is stamped that trotro is safe to go on the road without seatbelt? What is the individual's responsibility? People's ability to take responsibility is shaped by their circumstances. People make choices, but their choices are constrained by their social circumstances and the conditions in which they are born, grow, live, and work. Society has an obligation for the public's health. Society has an obligation for the public's health. What is the public in the public's health? What is the public in the public's health? I'm sharing a few thoughts on some definition of public health. Development of social machinery which will ensure to every individual in the society a standard of living adequate for the maintenance of health. What we as a society do collectively to ensure the conditions in which people can be healthy. The signs and acts of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through organized effort of society. Society's obligation to assure the conditions of people's health. Society, everything about public health, society runs to. Society. Health and ill health result from the complex interplay of several factors, most of which are beyond the individual's control. They are beyond the individual's control. Some are policy issues. Food and Drugs Authority, what they endorse is what you take. They are policy issues. The individual has no control. In epidemiology class, I tell them, no matter how rich you are, it will be difficult to construct a dual carriage from Cape Coast to Accra so that the road will be safe for you. Society must be responsible for that. No matter how well you are, you must get a secondary school that is quality secondary school near you to be able to get good education. Society has a responsibility. Society must provide. It must be responsible for certain things that are beyond the individual's control. Society has an obligation for the public's health. Most of health promotion messages, like the one I've shown you, they are outside the control of an individual to follow. People's ability to take personal responsibility is shaped by the circumstances. They cannot take responsibility if they cannot control what happens to them. Most of the public health interventions that we have, the reason why they fail is that they are individualistic, top-down, paternalistic. They are focused on changing lifestyle. They use threat and fear. They ignore the broader context, and they don't have theory underpinning what they are seeking to change. The current health promotion strategies are ineffective in reducing inequalities because they fail to tackle the causes of the causes. They fail. And it is so because it's easy to preach that somebody should change. But it's difficult to provide the space that will enable the person to change. 3 weeks ago, I was watching City TV. I hardly watch TV. And something struck me. There was a lady who was fetching water. It's a cemetery. And the interview, somebody watched that? Is there somebody who has seen that before? Watching water from a cemetery, and the journalist or whoever was interviewing the person said, "Why are you fetching this water? It's dirty." And he said, "I know, but this is the only water available for me to fetch. This is the only water available. This is the only water available." And sadly, we are polluting our water bodies. That is a topic for another day. But the point here is that many of the health promotion strategies, current health promotion, are outside the control and the reach of the individual. Society must take responsibility for those causes of the causes. If you look at the Ottawa Charter for Health Promotion, they talk about enabling people, enabling them. How do you enable people? Enabling people to increase control over the determinants of health, to improve their own health. So I think that this is how we could look at public health. That what we as a society must do collectively, which individuals can hardly be able to do on their own, to enable every member of society, or to ensure that every member of society is empowered to make healthy choices to improve their own health without compromising the health of the present and future generation. We must enable people to be able to take over control of their own health. Former Director General of WHO said, interventions aimed at reducing diseases and saving life succeed only when they take the social determinants of health adequately into account. Amartya Sen, who has written extensively on choices and constraints and how they relate to development, said that the success of an economy and of a society cannot be separated from the lives that members of that society are able to lead. The causes of the causes are in the community. Health is a political issue, but society these days fail to hold politicians responsible for health and for anything collective except for individual interest. Voters, we have failed to hold politicians for our collective good, including our health and the things that produce health to all of us. The only thing we run after is to get our own individual position within the existing society. But as we said, we spend less on health, we spend more in taking care of people in the old age. We spend less on education, we spend more in training more and recruiting more prison officers. We spend less on education, we spend more in policing the population. It will come back. This is not a story. This is it. I showed the graph. The better the distribution of the population, of the wealth of the nation, the better the health. The poorer, the unequal distribution, the worse social and health issues. So public health is also a human rights issue. It is about justice. It's about justice. That people should have access to health care, access to the things that enable them to take control over their health. So we need to rethink health promotion, and we need to rethink public health interventions, how they are implemented. We need to advocate, enable, and promote health in different ways. I want to share a few contributions that I've made towards this field. In this, we analyze the survival. We did survival analysis of the association between antenatal care, attendance, and neonatal mortality in 57 countries. And we found that there were differences across the countries, very inequality across the country. And the better, those, you can see this line, these are Europe. Africa is straight line here. East Asia is there. So here also we see gradient differences in health according to the wealth of the nation or the block of countries we have grouped. Then we look at health and socioeconomic circumstances over 3 generations as predictors of youth unemployment. So your circumstances in your childhood how it predicts your unemployment. And interestingly, we measure the circumstances by parental circumstances. So your parents' circumstances and how it predicts your chances of being employed. And adolescents' socioeconomic circumstances predicted their unemployment trajectories across 3 generations. 3 generations. We got data from adolescents and we linked it to their parent and linked it to their grandparent. And 3 successive generations, we found that the poorer your circumstances in childhood, the higher likelihood that you'll be unemployed in adulthood. We look at women's empowerment measured by a number of indicators, and how it predicts their neonatal, infant, and under 5 mortality in this country, in 59 countries. And we found that women empowerment was relatively low in low and middle income countries, and that in every country, the lower a woman's empowerment, the poorer the child's survivor. If you want to reduce neonatal mortality, infant mortality, child mortality, send women to school. Let them be empowered. This is the message. It's the causes of the causes. So this is it. We can see the gradient there. Then we look at alcohol-related mortality and all-cause mortality following bereavement in 2 successive generations. Also, health behavior affects also the mortality in adulthood. And the timing of poverty and reserve capacity in adolescence, you also find some relationship here. That low family socioeconomic status increase the probability of low education. This is for boys. We found the same for girls. It increases the probability of low adult education. Then reserve capacity and school achievement were directly related to adult education. Then we look at how socioeconomic circumstances and school achievement and reserve capacity in adolescents predict education in adulthood. This study was focused on Finland. So socioeconomic circumstances of parent and grandparent predicted educational attainment in adulthood. So if your grandparent or parent had better education, you are more likely to end up in a better education. Some of us, it was a miracle. Yeah, it's a miracle, and we thank God. We can't be. Miracle. A miracle. Yeah. That's for 3 years you've been taught 3 classes in one room, one chapel. And you have to go and write the exams with the same people. And I was shocked. I thought I knew Ghana until 2005, 2006, when I came for my PhD data collection. In one school, just at the neck of Accra, Greater Accra, neck of Greater Accra, one eastern corner there. We went to the JHS to collect data, and the whole JHS was not in session. When we asked, they said the JHS teachers, they are trained teachers. They want to see light and water in the community they live. So they live in the next community, and they come only when there is transportation to the school, and mostly market days. So if there is no transportation, they don't come. And if they don't come, there is no school. So we were compelled to recruit the class 6 pupils to respond to the questions instead of JHS, because they were not there. And these persons are going to write, and if they succeed and come here, and you say you want to give them support, but they must be brilliant and needy. It can't work. It can't work. It's enough if they are needy, but they made it here. We can deal with that, yes. Then we look at neonatal classroom, thanks to George, my PhD student. George, where are you? Yes, he did a fantastic work here. He looked at how neonatal mortality is clustered along segments in Kintampo area there. And we found that the village areas and all those suburbs, they have more neonatal mortality. If you go down, you see the causes of the causes there. They are there. The causes of the causes are there. It is not what you diagnose at the clinic. They are there. And this study investigates probability of neonatal survival and socio-demographic risk factors of neonatal mortality in Ghana. And the conclusion is that the risk of neonatal mortality is highest during the first week of life, and socioeconomic differences exist in the neonatal mortality. It's there. We emphasize that there is a need to tackle the socio-demographic risk factors, the causes of the causes, if we want to improve neonatal mortality and accelerate progress towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goal 3. We look at connection between youth development and mental health issues. And we look at what we call the 5 C's: competence, confidence, character, caring, and connection. And these results support the path of connection, which were associated with the 3 mental health well-being that we measured: emotional, social, and psychological. And that we said these factors should be considered in building up the youth for tomorrow. This study was conducted in UCC here. Students responded to this. Then this was my small contribution to the methodology in social epidemiology. We looked at, that's what I mentioned, how do we accurately measure adolescent socioeconomic status? Because if you want to intervene, you should be able to classify very well. Your classification should be valid for the intervention to be, otherwise you misclassify, the intervention will not be appropriate. And this has been really used. I have received many requests for people to adapt this in their work. I want to highlight a few very moderate achievements over the past 15 years that I've been this work. So I can say I've been a researcher or an academic for 15 years. Out of these 15 years, for the past 10 years that I qualified to supervise a PhD student, I've produced as a co-supervisor or principal supervisor 10 PhD graduates. George is one of them. George, thank you. Christy, I saw you there too. Sami, I supported your work led by Professor Abani. I'm very grateful. Oh, Dr. Edu Jemfi, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. I've served as external examiner for 21 theses across 3 continents. I have some publications. Yeah. A few things here I won't say. It's difficult to talk about yourself, so I won't say them. Please look at them. A few more here. And a few more. Maybe I should highlight this. I'm really happy that I have been able to make, in this discipline, these are some of the top journals there. And for the top 3, International Journal of Epidemiology, Journal of Adolescent Health, BMJ Global Health, my papers there are the first author. And where I work, first author is a first author. Yeah, first author is really first author. And I'm very grateful for that. A few more here. Thank you, everyone who has contributed to this. Most grateful. A few concluding thoughts and recommendations. The causes of the causes are responsible for the unfair and avoidable differences in health. The causes of the causes. And these are not about knowledge of health. It's not that the people don't know. No. Most of the time we focus on knowledge and access. It's inadequate. Knowledge and access is inadequate. It's about empowering, it's about having the agency to be able to make decisions that affect your health. Oh, something went. The distribution of health and ill health or disease, in a very generic term, in a society reflect the distribution of advantages and disadvantages in that society. Therefore, Each society forms its own distribution of health and ill health. We form. In every society, we form our own distribution of health and ill health. Some recommendations. We must look at health equity in all policies, especially in non-health policy. Access to food, access to safe water, access to education. Every ministry, every sector must look at how that sector influences health. Very important. We must ensure equitable access to quality education. Equitable access to quality education. Equitable access. We must promote employment. Unemployment is a social threat. Yeah, we should be worried if more and more young people don't have job to do. The devil, they said there's no idle hands. The devil employs the idle hands. We should be worried. When we're growing up, we can leave our keys and our aunts. You know why? Because in the community, everybody is almost equal. Yeah, at best you have one. I remember we had one who had TV, black and white TV. We all go and watch one person. But now you go to the same community. Some have cars. Some are still in a madhouse. So you can't keep your key under your door anymore. That's inequality, what it brings in a very generic term. That's what it brings. Because it's unequal. We must ensure gender equity. Girl-child education. Trying to reduce teenage pregnancy. We must work at that. Social protection. So let me highlight a bit more on employment. Employment must be fair and decent. People must work in decent, non-coercive employment. And they must earn fair wages. Sometimes employers pay people as if they are half human beings who do not deserve decent life. Yes. And then others are paid as if they are magicians who must multiply their income in order to survive. Yes. Wages must be fair and must be able to provide decent living for earners. Social protection, very important. Social protection, safety net, transport. Transportation has massive pathway to health. Water. When we are talking about some social intervention, mass log and all those things, they must be there, and they must be effective, they must be equitable, they must look for those who are in need and help them to be able to come up. Political empowerment, inclusion and voice. It is only when we hold society accountable that we can improve the system. And here I'm talking about society. I know there are sociologists here, professors of sociology. I don't want to take your discipline. But society is an organized group of people who are ordered. So in here, in the university, we can have different kinds of society. The head of department is the leader of the department, which is the society. And they should be able to hold him accountable. Dean is the leader of the society, school, or faculty, and should be able to hold him accountable. Provost is the leader of the society, college, and people should be able to hold him accountable. I'm addressing our in-house here. Then when we come to larger society, community, assemblymen, unit committee leaders, MPs, and then we go to national level. We should be able to hold society accountable. So we should be able to have a voice, fearless voice, non-partisan voice that will promote fairness and equitable distribution of whatever we have. Access to healthcare is also very important. Health insurance. And this is what we were chatting on one platform, my undergraduate platform, and somebody said that, does health insurance exist in Ghana? And then my friend Mark Kumoji wrote, yes, it does. It will take you to the consulting room, and the rest is yours. Health insurance must work. Health insurance must protect the people. So, health equity can be seen from all the 17 goals, SDGs. And so every aspect, when we are talking about water, life underwater, life on earth, we are talking about hunger, we are talking about poverty, whatever we talk about, we can see traces of the causes in there. And our intervention should be able to deal with this. So this is the recommendations, the final recommendations, that to be able to build a just, peaceful, and prosperous nation, society must address the causes of ill health. More research is definitely needed, and we in academia, we always end our papers with more research is needed. Yes, that is important, but also more action is needed. Thank you very much for your attention.
Let's do it again for Prof whilst he takes his seat. And then I'll welcome Mercy Achianu and her partner to give us a musical interlude, after which Prof would make a few acknowledgements. Has brought us this far. Your grace and mercy is all we need. Your grace and mercy has brought us this far. Your grace and mercy has brought us thus far. Adunia humabro nadia bedruhane. Your grace and mercy, your grace and mercy, your grace and mercy has brought us this far. Thank you. Let's welcome back on stage Professor David Doku to give a few acknowledgements.
Thank you very much. I was very brief with my speech so that I can have more time for acknowledgement. I hope I was very brief. Yeah, I was. Okay. First of all, I want to acknowledge all of you. You are wonderful. I didn't anticipate that there will be so many people here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just a poor boy born in Okwenya, raised in Okwenya, and I didn't expect that you'd be here, but thank you for joining us. there have been many, many people who have been in my life, but the most important hand has been the hand of God. How can I repay the Lord for all the good He has done for me? Psalm 116, verse 12. I can't pay the Lord. I thank you, Lord, for all that you have done for me. I want to acknowledge my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Doku. They are wonderful. Very wonderful. When I was going to secondary school, my mother said something. She might not even remember that really. One time I was in government bursary. I was very brilliant. Now I'm not brilliant anymore. So I was on government bursary, but those times the bursary will not come. They ask you to go and bring the money. Have you experienced that before? So that when the bursary comes, the bursar will credit you. So I went home for money. They sacked me in school fees, even though I was on government bursary. And then my mom said, this is difficult. You go to the farm. So we went to the farm. We were going and said, don't worry. We'll take care of you. Even if I have to sell my club and send you to school, I'll do that. And she actually did. So I'm most grateful. Most grateful. My siblings, Comfort, Yima, Francis, Paul. Please give me a wave. Paul, Esther, Joyce, they are here. I'm very, very grateful. So these are my mom if you didn't see them. Yes. I'm very, very grateful. My siblings were 7. And I asked my mom why she didn't stop why she gave birth to so many of us. And the answer she gave, she said if she stopped at 3, me, I was the 4th, I wouldn't have come. So she continued to 7 so that I will be in. And I'm here. I thank her. I thank her so much. Yeah. My cousins, so many of you, I can't mention all of you. I thank you so much for traveling. Some of you are coming from very far away to be with us. My in-laws, Mr. and Mrs. Line, thank you very much for flying all the way from Finland to come and support me. My teachers and mentors, my PhD supervisor, Professor Emerita Arya Rimpela in Finland, she had wanted to come, but due to some circumstances, and there was a change in the date also, so she couldn't change her schedule to be able to make it here. And then the second supervisor, Professor Lena Koivusita of Turku University, Finland. I thank them so much. If the link was sent, then they are online listening to us. I'm most grateful for all the investment you have made in my life. My co-author, I've authored most of my papers with this, my friend. We did masters and PhD together, and we were also together as postdoc. Adjunct Professor Subhas Newpanel, thank you. If you are online, I really salute you. Mr. Daleji, who combined the upper primary in one classroom to ensure that today I can make it to this stage. I'm very grateful to you. I'm very grateful, my class 4 teacher. This teacher of mine in secondary school, when we were just about preparing for our final exam, he had admission to UCC and left. And he returned. Every time he would return from UCC to Accra, those times, Dodo actually, it wasn't easy. And he would come there, come and teach us. I'm told that even affected his studies in UCC. Mr. Tufo, where are you? Please, I want to acknowledge you. Yes. Yes. And I didn't disappoint him. I made the A for him. So I didn't disappoint him. Thank you very much, Mr. Tufo. I'm very, very happy that you have made it all the way from Kufuria to this place to come and support me. Dr. Solomon Bri, my roommate, you were more than a roommate. My roommate, I thank you. Solomon, let me see your hands. Let me see your hand, yeah. Also, Mauli, Kweku Mauli, you're also my roommate. Kweku Mauli. Efo. Oh, Akbe Kakaka. Mohammed and Patrick, I'll put you together. We were in Finland together. We were determined that we will return home and help our homeland. And I think we are trying to do that. So 3 of us, we completed our studies. We said we were going home. And Mohammed, we were talking. We said we have PhDs. So even if we are coming to sell pure water, we are sure we'll market it better than those who don't have PhD. And that motivated us to pick our bag and baggage. Our Nigerian friends didn't understand us. Said, are you really going to Ghana? We said, yes, we are going. We are going to Ghana. Thank you so much. You are both here. I really appreciate your support. University Management Professor, I was really humbled when he was going to send a message to my brother Paul and sent to me and said, Dr. Doku, can you give me Dr. Doku's contact? And actually sent to me one late evening. And then I said, this is David Doku. Do you mean Paul Doku's contact? And he said, no, it's you that I wanted. Meet me Monday morning for a discussion. When I walked to his office, he looked at me and said, are you Dr. Doku? I said, yes. He said, we have never met before. And then he said, I want you to join Professor Ahmad Drake as deputy director. I said, wow, somebody who has never met me before. I'm very grateful to you. Yeah, this is the equity we are talking about. This is the fairness that should not be by face and by lobbying or anything. You say, I've seen your work and I want you to join Professor Ahmad Drake. I'm very grateful for all the support you have given to me. Registrar is not here. It's my namesake Teye. I thank him so much for his support. Professor Boini, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your support. In many ways, you have been a very great support and very inspirational to me, and I believe many others. Professor Nana Opukwa-Juma is not here. She recruited me. I am most grateful for being the Vice Chancellor who appointed me. Professor Didi Kumpoli, when I was going for postdoc, at the same time, another colleague of mine got postdoc, and it was really difficult for the department to allow both of us. I spoke with Prof. I went to his office many times, he wasn't there, so I sent him text message and said, oh, bring me the letter. When I went there, he said, well, your colleague says they can hold the phone, so you have to go. And I tell you, most of the things that I've shown here were done during the postdoc. I'm most grateful to you. Most grateful. Professor Joseph Appiakati appointed me as head of department. In fact, at the time I traveled to Finland, when I came, my friend Dr. Odro, now Professor Odro, sent me a message, congratulations. I was expecting some grant somewhere. Then I said, congratulations I was so excited I've gotten the grant. Then later I got to know I was appointed as a church. I said, wow, but, okay, well. So I'm very grateful. I mean, it shows the fairness in the system, and I'm very, very grateful about that. Professor Katie Odro, former Pro Vice Chancellor, I'm so grateful to you. You've been a father. I always consult you for most of my decisions. Professor Dora Edubando, my second mom on campus, you've been very, very helpful. I've been consulting you, and I am very, very grateful for your support. College of Professors, I'm so grateful to you. You have come in your numbers to cheer me up. I'm very, very grateful. Professor Akwesi Kumicheme was the head of department. When I finished my PhD and I've resolved that I'm coming to Ghana, I just went to the university website and Google, and I found his email address, and I sent to him my CV. And he said, quickly sent me the application form and said, fill it and submit it. I'm so grateful to you, Professor Kumicheme. Very, very grateful to you. And he has recruited. Without you, I wouldn't have been here. Professor Atuama, very, very big brother, very inspiring. I'm very grateful to you for your mentorship and leadership. Professor Angela Akosu, thank you. Very wonderful. Professor Georgina Odru, my sister from another mother. I'm very, very grateful to you for your help. Samuel Agbloti, Fifi Amakon Johnson, Professor Usabu Asare, you've been a father, really a great father in my career. You have really, really connected us many, many ways, and I'm very grateful to you. Teresa, Professor Tanley, you've been a great mentor. There are many people, I can't mention all of you. Yeah, my provost, Dr. Ekenem, you've been a great neighbor and always willing to support. I was ill last year, and in the middle of the night, he walked into my bedroom, supported me and picked me up to the hospital. I'm most grateful to you. Dr. Mason, you've been very great, very, very great to me and my family. Professor Dr. Obriyebwa, very wonderful colleague at Drake. Dr. Bevel, and all the Drake staff, Francis, Millicent, Alex, Sami, Isaac, Ikria, all of you. I can't mention all your names. I'm most grateful to you. My church friends and my church leaders, Apostle Dr. Iramina, our president, he had wanted to be here, but I'm told he's engaged somewhere else. Apostle Christopher Fumnyankon, Vice President, thank you very much for coming to grace this occasion. Apostle Alex Boatin, General Secretary, thank you very much. Apostle Latinho, I'm most grateful to you. Special aides to the President, thank you. My very good friend, Andy Norte, we were together studying, and then he really supported me so much. Ebenezer, Pastor Atueso, my members at the co-fellow workers at the Rehoboth Heritage Worship Center, Apostolic Church. I'm so grateful to you, Presiding Elder Eric Amamu, and all the elders there. I can't mention all your names. I'm very, very grateful to you for all the good things that you've done for me. And Esther, Gideon, Parkwesi, Mr. and Mrs. Sosi, the Presbytery, Area Presbytery, District Presbytery, Dr. and Mrs. Agnes Kudo, the Kudo family. I'm so grateful to you for supporting us in every way. I have also some external friends from other universities. Professor Joseph Teye of Orid, University of Ghana. Professor Philip Nchweje, KNUST, the director of their research directorate, is here to support me. I'm very, very grateful to you. Mr. Jacob Zuta, if you are here, very grateful to you from University of Ghana. Representatives of RIPS, University of Ghana. Center for Migration Studies, I'm told you have a rep here. Migration Studies, Legon, yes, they are here. I'm very, very grateful to you for coming here. Former directors of Drake, Professor Abani, you've been very, very supportive. You've been encouraging, really. Professor Enim, the now government statistician. My old boys, GOSA, student GOSA 96 and GOSA members, HOD and staff of population, Department of Population and Health. WOFA Online, thank you very much for your pieces of advice. My former provost, Professor Amakwando, thank you so much. He hold my hands and say, David, come. And then he will whisper some pieces of advice to me. I'm very grateful for all that you have done. The staff at the Faculty of Social Sciences and SEGRAD. And then finally, my wife, Laura, and children. I have 2 children and 2 wards. My children, biological children, are Lucas and Hilma, and then my ward, Rosina and Regina. Where are you? Rosina and Regina. Okay, they are busy somewhere. Okay, thank you very much. Let me say a very big thank you again to Mr. Tufo. This was my first authored book. At the time, I didn't know I'll sign up to this noble but poor paid job. And when I wrote this book, the Mathematics Grade A series, in 1998, and I wanted support to print more, and I discussed with Mr. Tufo now, my former teacher. He said, hey, you've written a book already. You'll be a professor. Today, I'm a professor. Thank you very much. I'm a professor. I'm most grateful to you. I believe this book has helped many other people. So, thank you all. I really thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a very brief ceremony to be performed, and that is the robing ceremony. It is basically to formally welcome Professor David Doku into the College of Professors here at UCC. I'll call on the College of Professors to kindly come up stage and do us the honors. Let's welcome them with a round of applause as they come up.
You come this way. Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is not about past Vice Chancellor's business. No. It's not about Vice Chancellor's business either. This is the College of Professors. We are doing this robing as a symbolic invitation. We are welcoming him symbolically to show that he has now reached the pinnacle of his academic and professional career. But it doesn't mean that that's the end. And he said it himself when he concluded. This is now the time to prove to the community, the university community, to prove to Cape Coast community and Ghanaian community as a whole that he is indeed obingful and that he still has to train and train properly. So I'll invite his doyen, we say in French, that's the most senior in the Department of Population and Health, Professor Awosabo Asare, to assist my junior brother, Professor Johnson Nyakubuampong, to rope him on behalf of our chairman. The chairman of the College of Professors is not here. He's unavoidably absent. So we're doing this on his behalf. So he's going to unrope. We are making available a really and truly professorial gown. When that is ready, you see a difference. So he will unrope, and we symbolically rope him in this blue, which is very beautiful, per my judgment. Remove the cup. Thereafter, he will remove the blue and rewear the red for pictures. Thank you very much. So, let's go. Right. We will later meet him in caucus and tell him what he is not to do and what he is supposed to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, College of Professors. They will take turns to congratulate Professor David Teye Doku. I'll call on the Pro Vice Chancellor UCC, Professor Mrs. Rosamond Boahene, to also congratulate Professor Teye. Then the University Librarian, Dr. Mark Anthony Kobler, would also join I'll call on former Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Dora Edubuando, to also do us the honors by congratulating Professor Teye Doku. Let's welcome Professor Dora Edubuando. We call on the wife and children. To congratulate Professor David Teye Doku. Let's welcome the parents. We welcome the parents. To be followed by his in-laws. A proud father indeed. Thank you very much. His in-laws will take their turn to congratulate him. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Doku. I'll call on other family members present. All family members. All family members. Thank you. That's an emotional father-in-law there. Thank you so much. All family members. Family members. The family members will be followed by staff of his department and faculty. The Department of Population and Health, UCC, and then staff of his faculty will take their turn after the family members. Staff of his department and faculty. They will be followed by Drake. So the Department of Population and Health have this citation for Professor David Teye Doku. It reads, "You are one of the distinguished scholars whose impact on teaching and research is transformative. During your leadership, the department experienced continuous progress in academic excellence and student mentorship. we say, are you called to you on your promotion to the rank of professor? Congratulations, Prof. His faculty would equally want to present a citation in his honor, and it reads:
Congratulations, Professor David Teye Doku, Professor of Epidemiology and Public Health. Congratulations to Professor David Teye Doku, Professor of Epidemiology and Public Health, on your inaugural lecture. Your contributions to our university and the Faculty of Social Sciences have been invaluable. We are proud to have you as part of our community. May your passion for research and teaching continue to make a positive impact in the area of epidemiology and public health. Once again, congratulations, and we wish you a continued success in all your endeavors.
Thank you very much, and this is coming from his faculty. Drake, UCC. Drake. Thank you very much, staff of his department and faculty. Drake, UCC. Coming up stage, let's welcome Drake, UCC. Prof. Doku is Director of the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Consultancy. Drake. So there's a citation. There is a citation from his directorate as well for him. And there's a citation in honor of Prof. Doku, and it's coming from the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Consultancy, and it reads:
Forgive us if it is lengthy, because research, that is a characteristic. Citation in honor of Professor David Teye Doku on your inaugural lecture and induction into the College of Professors. The Vice Chancellor's strategic appointment of you as a Deputy Director of the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Consultancy in the year 2020, with a mission to promote research, innovation and consultancy activities of the University of Cape Coast, was apt. Within a space of 2 years, you justifiably and meritoriously assumed the enviable position of the Director of Drake. This feat required not only hard work, but also being action-oriented, optimistic, visionary, disciplined, and possessing strong leadership skills. You successfully chaired the committee that developed the UCC Research Agenda 2023-2027 to direct the research orientation of our university within the next 4 years. Your visionary leadership is evident in your novel initiatives at the Directorate, such as the development of the longitudinal data infrastructure for UCC, the preparation of the university to participate in other world rankings, grants-making drive, and acquisition of grant sourcing platforms such as the development aid. Your scholarly achievement, evident in your prolific publication record, is most admirable. You are the most cited scholar in UCC with over 40,000 citations. You were ranked the best social sciences and humanities scientist in Ghana by research.com in 2023. You have created an innovative, engaging, and inspiring working environment that continually feeds the achievements of Drake and UCC. You have been a strategic leader, planner, inspirer, coach, and disciplinarian. On this august day of your inaugural lecture and official induction into the College of Professors of our great university, we say congratulations. Professor Teye Doku, Ayuku.
Tak Ghana would follow. Tak Ghana. Tak Ghana. And members of his congregation, his church members, would follow Tak Ghana. Tak Ghana, please. Tak Ghana will be followed by church members, members of his congregation, can equally take their turn to congratulate Professor Doku. Members of the Apostolic Church Ghana, okay, and Tak Ghana has a citation to present to Prof. Doku.
Oh, very well. All right, so this is from the Apostolic Church, the area, Cape Coast area. Professor Doku, you have diligently, obediently, and lovingly served the Lord's flock and students. You have led and educated many, both within and outside the church, instilling knowledge and gentleness. Vodibokum Jr. once said, the aim and result of faithful, fruitful, and fulfilling service is to make God famous. Without a doubt, you have indeed made God famous through your leadership in the church and your role as a lecturer at the university. As a distinguished member and leader in the body of Christ, you have illuminated a path of enlightenment for the youth, inspiring them to the wholeheartedly pursuing wisdom. Your intellectual rigor, profound spiritual insight, and weighty teachings rooted in a deep understanding of academic disciplines and spiritual principles have nurtured a generation of thinkers and believers who are poised to make a positive impact on society. You have become an epitome of wisdom, a wellspring we turn to in times of decision making. On this special occasion, the Apostolic Church Ghana Cape Coast Area Administration wishes its profound gratitude and appreciation first to God, who has given you as a gift to the church and the society at large, and also to you, a humble servant of God, whom God endowed with a spirit of excellence to achieve this important milestone. Ayeko, Professor.
Thank you very much, Tak Ghana and members of the Apostolic Church Ghana as well. Thank you so much, the Apostolic Church Ghana. Abbreviated as Tak Ghana. Thank you. Kindly exit from my left. Kindly exit on my left. And I'll call on friends and well-wishers who are here who wish to congratulate Professor Doku to take their turn. Friends and well-wishers who are here to support him can take their turn to do so. All friends and well-wishers who are here to support Professor Doku can take their turn and then congratulate him. Friends and well-wishers are taking their turn now. So thank you. When you congratulate him, kindly exit the stage. Kindly exit the stage when you are done. Let's kindly congratulate him and then exit. So from his friends, there is a citation. It will not be read. So Professor Tuama, former director of DRIC, is presenting the citation to him. Indeed, you can tell it is coming from a research corner. Looking at the way it has been designed, it's indeed a DRIC thing. Thank you very much, friends of Professor Doku. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Professor Doku, after congratulating the few on stage, would exit from my right and then shake hands with the Marahin of Ogwa and then take his seat. Let's do it for Prof whilst he exits and takes his seat. On his way, he would shake hands with the Marahin of Ogwa traditional area, Nana Kwekwenu. Thank you so much, Nana, for being here. Let's do it for Prof once again whilst he takes his seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor of acknowledging a few personalities here. I believe Prof Doku has already acknowledged some, and I have to do the rest now. I would want to acknowledge first and foremost the Vice Chancellor of UCC, Professor Johnson Yakobuampong, who also chaired this event. We have the Pro-Vice Chancellor here, Professor Rosamond Boahene. She's in our midst. Professor D.T. Kumpole is a former Vice Chancellor UCC. Sir, thank you for being here. We also acknowledge former Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor George K.T. Odro. We acknowledge Professor Dora Francisca Dubuando, former Pro-Vice Chancellor. We have the Provost of the College of Health and Allied Sciences, Professor Martins Eko. He's here. The immediate past Provost of the College of Distance Education, Professor Isaac Gallion, is also in our midst. Thank you, sir. The university's librarian, Dr. Mark Anthony Kobler. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Nana Kwekwenu II is Manrahin Ogwa Traditional Area. Nana, thank you. I would quickly also acknowledge the College of Professors, Reverend Professor Kankam Bwedu. Thank you, Prof. Professor Eugene Malfodate. Professor Boabasua is also here. Professor J.V. Mensah. Reverend Professor Seth Asari Danso. Professor Yao Ankoma. Professor Frederick Ato Ama. Professor Kofi Ewusabuasari, Professor Albert Machiste Abani, Professor Mrs. Sarah Dakwa, Professor Francis Emekwando. Thank you, College, for being a part of this ceremony. I would also extend acknowledgement to the clergy who are all present and the members of the Apostolic Church, Ghana. Thank you so much for being a part of Professor Doku's special day. We are very grateful. At this point, I'll call on the chairman to give his closing remarks. Let's welcome back on stage Professor Johnson Nyakon Wampong.
Thank you, MC. Please join me to congratulate Professor David Doku for this insightful presentation. I think we all have takeaway message. Indeed, he has done well by presenting on the topic, the causes of the causes. A society, the producer of its own health and ill health. He started by giving definition of health. And he said that health means state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of diseases or infirmity. He talked about, gave historical improvement in health, right from, based on life expectancy of the world population from 1770 to 2021 data. Then he actually showed us that there has been remarkable improvement of health, especially in the 21st century. He showed with figures. And also talked about the fact that health can be measured using life expectancy. And talked about the fact that these days we have, because of improvement in health, we have reduced child mortality and maternal mortality. We talk about differences between life expectancy across the regions and dispensations, and even continental and intercontinental. And gave examples in Ghana and other places. And then talk about the main determinants of health: general socioeconomic factor, cultural factor, and environmental factors. and talk about the social determinant of health. And then he came to what are the causes of the causes. He gave scenario actually to reinforce the fact that we have upstream factors and we have downstream factors. And end up by saying that what doctors, medical or physicians diagnose in their consulting rooms are not the main causes. They may be offshoot of the main causes. Then he quoted Master Lucas, Doku, 2023. That the first cause is the main cause of the cause that you have. I think he has done well. He's a professor in making. Talk about the causes of the causes are in the communities. That is where we have the causes of the causes. Gave many examples. Talk about equality and equity. And he has also advised us as a university that we should not only focus on brilliant but needy, but we should also focus on needy and potential brilliant students. You show the social gradient in health and says that everybody's health can improve when we tackle the health of others. So it is important we live together as people and not to become self-centered, making sure that we take care of each other. He gave us simplified pathways of health inequalities and talk about the etiological pathways of inequalities and gave 4 explanations covering measuring artifacts, natural and social selection, cultural behavior differences, and then structure and material, as these give explanation of them. And so that people have choices, but their choices are constrained by their social circumstances. So some of us will want to live in glass houses, but we are constrained by the resources. Our health depends on how society is organized. And that is why we must all be interested in how we conduct ourselves as a society. Now in Sudan, people are running away from Sudan because of what is happening. So we have to work together, no matter your party affiliations, to make sure that we protect our country, Mother Ghana. So he asked a question, whose responsibility is health? Individuals are responsible to large extent, but the society is also responsible. Because if you want to travel, you cannot create your own road. It's the responsibility of the government to create the road, and then we all use it. So it is, we can summarize it as it is a collective responsibility of us all to ensure that we have health systems well established and everybody will live in a healthy environment. Then he talked about public health is a political issue. Indeed, it's a political issue. And that is why we should all be interested in the politics of the country. I mean, whatever happens in the country, so far as politics is concerned, we should all be interested. Then his contribution. As for contributions, I wouldn't want to talk about it because I said some of them when I was giving the profile of Professor David Teye Doku. He gave highlights of his achievements and then gave concluding remarks and recommendations. But I'll end up by saying that, to quote him, said, to build a just, peaceful, and prosperous nation, society must address the causes of ill health. And he said that more action is needed. And I want to add that more action is needed because society is the producer of its own health and ill health. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Chair. I would call on Apostle Alex Boateng, General Secretary of the Apostolic Church Ghana, to give us the closing prayer.
Shall we please be upstanding as we offer praise unto God? Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this day. We thank you for the life of our brother and friend, Professor Teye Doku, and what you have used him to achieve. We bless you for this occasion, how far you have carried us through, and we are so grateful. Even as we go back to our various destinations, we pray that you take us back safely, grant us journey mercies, and take everyone back safely. And when we reach our various destinations, we'll have cause to bless your holy name. We bless you for taking us through safely. In the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. This is how we bring the inaugural lecture to an end. The Vice Chancellor and his entourage would exit this auditorium, but we are supposed to have taken photos outside. Because of the heavy downpour, we're going to have it in here. So we kindly crave that you hold on a bit for us, and then Professor Doku would take photos with you again, and then we can all kindly exit. Thank you very much. Kindly note that on the 19th of July, Professor Augustine Tanley would also